and by hurting you, I mean giving you TheQuartering's take on the Derek Chauvin trial. Chauvin? The criminal that murdered George Floyd. That's the thing I have to do. I have to give you his take. This is TheQuartering on his secondary channel, Midwestly. We missed this on 420. I was very high. This is his take on the Chauvin trial. I'm sure this is going to be just fine. And wouldn't you know it, his video that he has a very big opinion about, of course, came in just over the 8-minute mark where he could play a mid-roll ad. I'm sure that's, I'm sure all the opinions here are pretty normal. Have you had a puff yet today? I have not had a puff. I do have a little bit of weed, though. I have this little stubby thing because I was sitting here. Look at this. Look at this goddamn little boy. That's all that's left out of that one. Which, don't waste weed, guys. I was sitting here the other night and I got a fit of inspiration while I was high already. And so I just carried this into here from the living room and was writing. What strain? I think that's... I don't know. It's either GG4, wedding cake, or lemon haze, but I couldn't tell you. But anyway, none of those things are Jeremy, because all of those things make me happy because they're weed, and this isn't happy at all. He doesn't make me happy. So let's see what Jeremy has to say. I'm just waiting for his take. I wonder, wow, probably going to be good, on George Floyd's murderer being sent to where murderers go, because he's a murderer, a convicted one.
Well, the nation waited with bated breath today as the verdict was reached relatively quickly in the Derek Chauvin trial. And I'm not going to bury the lead. You've probably already seen he's guilty of second degree, third degree, and he's guilty on all counts.
True. Turns out you can't just kill people. Do you know why there was bated breath, by the way? I feel like we're not talking about this enough. Maybe some people are. I feel like the story on here was of relief, right? Of like, oh, finally, it's all done. But a lot of lefties like you and I'm sure the thought passed your mind, and hopefully it has. And if it hasn't, I'll let you know what you should be thinking as well. Because that's what I do. I tell you how to think, I guess. I think we should consider, at least, why we even had bated breath for this particular case. The man stood on another human being's neck until he died on camera every second of it. Like, literally every second of it until he died, we watched that. We all saw it to some degree. Whether you watched the whole video or not, I don't suggest it. You do not have to. I'm not going to play it for you. No one needs to see George Floyd die yet again. We already did. We watched him the whole time. He just murdered a guy. Why do we have bated breath at all? It was a murder. We looked at it and went, that's a murder. And then some people went, yeah, but he had it coming. Not that it wasn't a murder, just that, like, it was fine as so far as murders go, right? Like, that was their defense. Like, well, at least it wasn't someone else. Like, it was a murder, though. Like, I don't care. Look, if George Floyd was, I don't know, think of the worst thing a person could be. I still don't think the cops should be allowed to murder him unless he's actively threatening their lives, right? With like a gun. And I don't mean like swinging at him. I don't mean throwing a haymaker. I mean shooting him with a gun. Why are we surprised the murderer got put away? And the answer is, of course, well, he was a cop. And cops are not held accountable, or at least they haven't been in the history of our country. And suddenly, there's some accountability. Now, part of that is obviously because it was a fucking murder, but also part of that is because of the zeitgeist, the moral shift in the language around police brutality, right? Like, Rodney King was a thing when I was a kid. You might not remember it, but I remember parts of it. Rodney King was a thing. I was in, like first grade, kindergarten, somewhere in there. So I remember it being covered a lot, but I didn't understand the impact of it. But I gotta say, my family didn't fucking talk about that. Like, my white middle-class family with a Republican dad didn't talk about that at all around the dinner table. I did not get a talk about racism, ever. I've literally never gotten that. How many white people in here grew up in a family where their family talked about racism and how not to be a racist and how being a racist is bad? Did any of you have that talk as a family? Because I don't recall that, and that's really a big part of the problem, obviously. I got that talk at 5 years old. And now, here's the thing. So white people saying, I didn't really get that talk. Some people said they did. Very, very few of you, right? You probably, more often you get it amongst your peers and at school and stuff like that, or through media that you take in. Not with your family, not the people very close to you, and certainly not my friends. We were children, but I mean, like, my family never talked about that. I had a Southern family once told me that being racist wasn't as bad as people think it is. Jesus. Now, okay, white people, we've had our time in the sun here. Not that we couldn't use a little bit more of it. Black or just people of color in general, I guess, but specifically black people for sure, in chat right now. How many of you had discussions about the color of your skin could put you in danger? I guarantee you it was pretty much all of you. Yeah. So, yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Do you see the fucking big difference here? Big difference in experiences. Maybe if you're white passing, might not come up. I'm white, but my son is black, and we had that talk many times. See? Like, yeah. Now, I would expect it more out of black families than, like, maybe I'd probably say Hispanic is probably number 2 on the list. I feel like Asian people probably get more of the. I mean, obviously there's significant like hate crime shit happening right now, obviously, and it's happened before and in the past, but specifically from cops, probably not. I think I feel like, and I don't know. This is just from what the conversation is. I feel like most of Asian, specifically Asian American, and however that manifests, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, somewhere in there, Pacific Islander, whatever. If you look a certain way, and they go like, "Oh, I can't really tell the difference." I feel like it's really microaggressive in the way that Asian people experience racism. Like, it's a lot of like, "Oh, you're good at math. Do you know karate?" Stuff like that. Whereas it's more, you know what I mean? I don't know how to explain that. Maybe you guys will. Maybe we could talk about it at some point if we have a decent model minority is the word I'm looking for. Yeah. That's what it is. The model minority shit happens a lot. Generation microaggression, like it's a lot. All natives are born knowing we are actively being erased. The U.S. wants us ghosts. I don't know that the U.S. at this point wants anything, but they're a product of a system that did, right? Like, I don't think any government official thinks, today we shall eradicate the native population. Yes, how can we fuck them over specifically today? I don't think that happens, but the insidious aspect of racism is that it just sort of bakes into stuff, right? So if you have old policy on the book during a time when that did happen, it persists to this day, right? And that's why I think it's important that there's a person of Native heritage is the Secretary of the Interior, if I'm right? Secretary. I think it's Interior, right? Interior? Secretary here. Is that who it is right now? Yes, it is. I believe. Boink. Is this her? Albuquerque, Winslow, Arizona, Laguna Pueblo. Yeah. So secretary. So this, I'm hoping that having a high-ranking official within the government will help. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know if anyone here, like Connable, you're the one that's talking about this. Are you on a res, or do you know people on a res? And have the situation gotten better there because of that so far, or is it too soon? Don't know. Is she dog shit and we just don't know about it? Is she a lib? Hopefully she's good. I don't know anything about it. I just know that it was exciting. Dennis Prager did a fireside chat about that. He was like, are all stereotypes bad? No. I should be allowed to say all Asians are smart. But of course, if someone says white people are racist, that's... Wait, he said all Asians... Jesus Christ. It's that kind of shit, man. It's that kind of shit. Talk to an Asian person about their experience, and the fact that just the fact that the vernacular is an Asian person is part of the problem, right? Because it's an umbrella term for a thing that means all sorts of people, right? That have vastly different cultures and languages and just fucking everything. It's just different. There's fucking different people. They look slightly the same. Yeah, it's a continent, exactly. And India is part of that continent, and so is Russia. So it's like Russians are Asians, right? Yeah, technically. Not in the way that we use it as a colloquial, but yeah. Anyway. We kind of got off topic there. Anyway, not really, because we're talking about racism and how it infiltrates everything. And why systemic racism led to the death of George Floyd, and why that's the reason that it's even notable that his murderer got sent to prison for doing the murder. Keyboard Turner Overdrive, excuse me. Thanks for the prime, dude. 4 months. I totally agree with that. People in prison should have the right to vote. My family I'm at boarding school leftover. She's problematic, but I'm glad she's there. I think our vaccinations for elders. She's problematic? Oh, I didn't know that. But I'm glad she's there. I think our vaccinations for elders did so well because we finally have representation. Well, that's good. We take some good with the bad, you know? Why is she problematic? Prison should not exist. I tend to agree. I don't think it's reasonable to say that they shouldn't exist in general, because at some point you probably will have to. But, well, okay, prisons as they exist in America should not exist, but the concept of a place we keep someone who should not be integrated into society is reasonable, because some people just can't be. But I don't think they should be, treated the way they're treated. Does that make sense? And obviously, if I don't know if you're new here, I don't think you are. Maybe you are. You followed on April 1st, so maybe you haven't had this conversation. The conversation here is obviously get rid of private prisons, obviously, because profit motive over that shit. And even in the case of Derek Chauvin, who this video is about, and I promise we will get back to. Thank you, Ryan Girl, for following. Wait, it said you. Wait. It said you followed on. Wait, it said you. Oh, that's your birthday. You just followed. Never mind. I'm sorry. So obviously get rid of any sort of profit motive over something that takes into ethics so much as imprisonment, right? And then, it's not punitive punishment. It's not punishment. We should be reforming people. We should be being like, okay, so what's the problem? I like to stab people in the face. Well, Kevin, how can we stop you from stabbing people in the face? Or how, Derek, can we stop you from leaning on people that you don't like? And murdering them with your kneecap. Can we stop that? Yeah, that meant nothing to me, Connable. I absolutely have no idea what blood quantum means, so I'm going to Google it. Blood quantum. What is that? Oh. I actually do understand the concept. I didn't know it was a term for it. So for those of you who don't know, blood quantum is basically the amount of native blood you have in your body. I assume this is in regards to who gets payouts from the government, because in Michigan we have actually a pretty large native population in several reses. But I went to school with a few kids that have native heritage, although they didn't live in the res. That did get some kickback from the government for having a certain amount of heritage. I think it was like 1/8 or something, or 1/16 or 1/4. I can't remember. But at a certain point, you get money. I don't know if it's a lot. I don't know. But father's European ancestry, so I have native blood on my hands. Yay! I probably do too. As an ancestor of the English, who were the colonizeriest colonizers. So let's continue this. We've got enough context for racism now.
It is the outcome that
I hate it here. You can't find anywhere that is not colonizing. So we just did it the worst.
I predicted. I don't know what's going to happen here. I think we can from here. Obviously, he can appeal, and I believe he will be granted an appeal. Obviously, we haven't seen anything on sentencing yet, but it would seem this was the predictable outcome.
So it wasn't Australia though; it was England via Australia, right? Like some of the Australians consider that, but England was the progenitor of the reason that was a thing, right? England. Fuck England.
Certainly, in my opinion, there was some reasonable doubt or possibility of reasonable doubt. But I just, he certainly was guilty of some of it. I had no doubt about that, but I wasn't sure how the jury would feel about reasonable doubt. You just need to flip one of them. But the fact that the verdict came in just hours.
What do you mean reasonable doubt? You just watched the video. What? Like what? Okay, what's the reasonable doubt? Like, again, they keep doing this thing. Like people like Jeremy, they keep going like, well, actually, third degree makes a lot more sense. It was manslaughter. Do you know what manslaughter is? Manslaughter is like it's more negligent. I always think of manslaughter in the way that, like, is it like if you were driving your car and then a kid ran out into the street and you fucking boinked them with the car and murdered and killed them, right? That's not the same thing as leaning on someone's neck for 9 minutes. It's certainly leaning on someone's neck for 9 minutes and murdering them is certainly more than being on your phone accidentally while and driving on the road and then having a kid run out into the road and hitting them with your car, right? Like, it's not an accident. He didn't trip and fall and crush his windpipe. He sat there. He injured the man grievously on purpose. This is second degree. He didn't premeditate it, but it was pretty cut and dry. Second, if your action deliberately will kill somebody, it counts as intent. Of course it does, right? Like it's pretty. Like even if I can't imagine a lot of people have had their necks like kneeled on and killed in that way enough to, especially not this publicly, in a way that we could be like, well, there's precedent for this somewhere else that we can look at, right? This is a very unique situation. Popel 1000, thanks for following. You don't get to fucking lean on people. Fabian 64, good. Or is it Fabian sticks for good? Who knows? Thank you so much for the tier 2, dude. You got a new, hey, tier 2, Fabian? You got a new emote. Check it out. It's the Sag. It's the Sag copy. He's so cute. Look at how cute he is. Did you know that the feds were at the courthouse waiting to arrest Chauvin if he had been found not guilty or if the jury was locked? Wait, I don't understand that. I don't understand what that means. Yes, the definition of cruel and unusual, absolutely. Probably protective. Yeah, I don't think they were going to arrest him, right? If he was not guilty. Anyway, we'll keep going.
I was almost certain that it was going to be guilty on all counts.
Well, sure,
and I think that's, exactly what happened.
Exactly.
I don't think that his defense is going to have a problem appealing this. In my opinion, the jury was tainted. That doesn't mean that they made the incorrect decision, but
that's weird.
I think that the case for having politicians saying we're going to need to amp things up if we don't get the verdict we want, if we don't,
it's bad for precedent
you
erosion.
got people saying we're going to take to the streets, we're going to burn the city down again.
Really?
And I think, look,
is he? Of course, this is a spin. Is he saying that like the jurors were so worried about the municipal infrastructure holding up against a riot that they were like, you know what, we should put this one away? Like what?
This whole thing was a mess. I felt like there was reasonable doubt, but I wasn't in that courtroom. I didn't see every little shred of evidence like they did. I also wasn't intimidated by politicians and everything else going on. I think the most important thing here is...
Okay, here's the thing about Jeremy, right? He said, oh, I wasn't intimidated by it. If I was in a jury room with Jeremy, I would steamroll that motherfucker and he'd be my bitch in one debate. Like, let's be real. If we were just two jurors on the George Floyd case, I mean, I would fucking crush him and he would be my baby immediately. He doesn't have big dick energy, okay? You just don't have it, Jeremy. You're a pushover. I know for a fact that I would dominate you. And it's not because I'm like some big bare-chested gorilla man. I'm very effusive and he's not. That's it. I don't mean that I'm some sort of fucking Adonis. I mean that he's a bitch. That's really what it means. Like, because you're a top lobster? Maybe, but even so, like I'm in a fucking corn suit, dude. Like, I'm just very confident that he's, and people like him, people that constantly do this sort of like, I will not be intimidated by the far left. Like, if you have no profit motive, if it's just us privately, just like one-on-one somewhere, you're my bitch, dude. You're my bitch. Immediately. 100%. Like, and I don't even mean to do that to people. Like, sometimes I'm just very effervescent. You know what I'm saying? It just happens. I'm a force of personality, dude. Anyone who's ever been around me can tell you this. I accidentally just like, my personality just happens. It just happens. I'm a dom, not on purpose. It's not my kink. Excuse me. Lake Loss, thanks for following. It's just like one of those things, dude. In a way that usually people like being around me unless they disagree with me. Like, it's just one of those things, bro. Ooh, what is that? Twinton? Bilbos? Cute. Do you also know that the feds are charging Chauvin with all three of the other officers for violating Mr. Floyd's civil rights? No, but that's fucking dope. Good. Fuck Derek Chauvin. Murderer. You can't murder people, bro.
That
I can't believe he had the audacity to say not guilty. Bro, I don't, like, what the fuck are you? Just say you're guilty, dude. That still blows my mind. Not guilty. What? What? You murdered a guy. Whatever. You're a cop. What?
Hopefully, some healing can begin. I don't believe that it will.
What kind of healing,
I
my
believe
dude?
that we're just another event away from everybody burning their respective cities down
What?
again.
Again, what city was burnt down, Jeremy? What city was burnt down? In his home state of Wisconsin, in Kenosha, a boy shot people with a military rifle. It's still up. It exists. The nation needs healing. Fuck off, bro. This is a bunch of, you know what this is? This is a bunch of fucking MAGA hats reaping what they sowed. And they're not enjoying this part. This is the hard part. This is the reaping portion.
I think that if I could make a comment on, training, obviously people that want to defund local law enforcement are dumb.
Jeremy, hi, buddy. I'm sure you don't have the testicular fortitude to do so. I'm saying that you have small balls, both metaphorically and physically. And I'm sure your dick is too thin, literally, physically, your dick, and also metaphorically, your dick is too thin to say yes to this. But I cordially invite you to have a discussion about what you just said. You little bitch. Are you absolutely serious right now? I will have a discussion with you about how defunding the police is fucking dope. And I will win that. But you wouldn't do it. Because you're worried that your wife would go get pizza with me and leave you at home in the basement to pee in a box. And she would too. I'm a really good date. We'd have a really good time. What's her favorite pizza toppings, by the way? I should probably learn those. I'm not saying I'm going to have sex with your wife, by the way. I'm saying I'm going to be a better time. Platonic friends. Much better time than being sexual with Jeremy. True.
More training is needed. In particular, I would argue in de-escalation. Is it really worth locking up somebody?
Yes.
Over a potentially, bad $20 bill.
Oh, never mind. I thought that sentence was going to end differently. Okay, never mind. I thought, is it worth locking them up for murdering a man? Yes, it is reasonable to put someone away for that. But never mind. He was talking about George Floyd. Should they have even been there? Woo! Nice save, Jeremy.
I just don't know. If you would argue, if the question was somebody who was producing them, sure. But I've literally had a fake, I think it was a 50 or 100 passed to me, and I was in Las Vegas at a dispensary, and they're like, this bill is fake. I didn't know that. I think I got it from somebody who was paying me for something. They didn't know it was fake. They're a friend of mine. I knew that wasn't the case.
Weird. I'm almost certain that Jeremy was one of the people referencing a bad 20s justification for his murder a while back. Evotion, can you find that, if that's a thing? If you find that, I'll give you a shiny nickel. Because I don't recall him saying that. But if he did say that, and you do find it, that would be amazing. And there's a shiny nickel in it for you.
Case. I don't know. I feel like obviously lots of people will feel relieved tonight. I'm not sure that the jury had much of a choice, but there certainly was
because he was guilty.
Evidence that, painted this as the correct decision.
Wait. The sentence was the correct decision, or the correct decision to kneel on his neck until he died?
I want to call out
call him out.
The journalists who
out.
Have been essentially doxing jurors, absolutely deplorable behavior. Politicians who have been getting involved, race hustlers like Al Sharpton. Every time something like this happens, and let me be very clear, it's always going to happen. I don't agree with that.
Wait, what?
I wish it wouldn't.
Wait, what?
But it's always going to happen. You're always going to have these, the overwhelming majority of interactions with law enforcement go as scripted. But you're always going to have mistakes.
Jeremy, this is another reason we should have this discussion. You're fucking dumb.
Her ramble was just.
I'm not the first person to make this observation, and I won't be the last, but I'm going to be the one that does it right now. Ian Fisheggs, thanks for following. Imagine if you had the same standards for a airliner pilot. Well, you can't land every plane. No, but that's the goal. Like, what? Tell you what. If I feel like, much in the same way that pilots care very much about safely landing a plane, if you had a gun that shot like a smaller bullet back at the police officer when they shot their gun, or if they shot their gun, it stabbed the fuck out of their hand and it made them bleed profusely. Like, what if when you shot your gun for that's a really great idea. What if police officers, what if to shoot the gun to save your life, because you got to know it just saves your life. What if a spike drove through your hand if you pulled the trigger? But, and that was just the price to pay for being a police officer. No, electrocution's too easy. No, I wanted to poke their fucking hand. Okay? Hopefully they don't miss. Yeah, don't miss. Don't miss. 1 bullet equals 1 kick to the balls. True. How about anytime they draw it? How about if they draw it? It should, No, I'll let a cop draw their gun. But if they pull the trigger, they get stabbed in the hand. Okay? And the first trigger pull shoots a blank every time. The second trigger pull, you got to want it. Second trigger pull after the first stabs again, then shoots a bullet. Tube Man, thanks for the 10 months. The real answer to this question is not that, by the way. The real answer to that question, or the real answer to the problem of police violence is not stabbing their hands, although it would help. The real answer is, of course, don't meet every situation as though it will rise to a violent altercation, because if you're already planning on violent altercation, that inherently rises the chances of a violent altercation. Like, what? It's like going into work with a bad attitude on purpose. It's like, it's going to bleed into the rest of everything else. You're going to have a bad day. I mean, I'm not saying just smile, forehead. I'm saying if you intentionally go like, fuck this, I fucking hate this shit, and you work yourself up, and you know you could do that, and you probably have done that in your life, worked yourself up too much. I know I have. I mean, you could fuck up your day. Like, why couldn't someone do that in policing? Not to mention, by the way, can we let's talk about this for a second. Class solidarity with police officers? It's a thing. Now, are they the oppressors? Of course they are. However, part of the reason their oppression happens is due to the fact that they are overworked and underpaid. It's now, of course. That said, I would want to abolish their jobs anyway, because I think the way that their job is set up is stupid. However, as a police officer, you can reapply for a different job within the police system, which would include things like social work, which would include things like mental health care, which would include things like, I don't know, community outreach, like literal actual community outreach. Helping, like, imagine police officers that were just there to literally help. Oh, you got a blown tire? Well, I can't write tickets. It's not my thing. You got a blown tire? I love to help. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a few cops that do that sometimes, but I mean, like, what if it was just their job to, like, just help people? Oh, you know, I come here and I help. I don't have a gun on me. You know? like, what if Oh yeah, they're definitely underpaid. Now, I some people like high-ranking like big city
Rambo
cops
was
are
just a
are pretty
gorilla.
well paid, but most cops like are not paid very well at all. Like let's be real. Protect and serve, exactly. Yeah, so I don't mean cops in the way that they exist now, but I mean that cops in the way that we want them to exist. We should pay them better and work them less. I mean, frankly, if we did that now, we would have better success rates right now. But the problem is because we make this like a budgetary thing, right? We again put capital and the pursuit of it in the way of ethics. Yet again. Seculoid, thanks so much for the 27 months, dude. Hell yeah. Courts have ruled that cops are not even required to protect people. Yeah, unless we undo that, which we should, and we just redefine what cops should be doing. They need to protect people. They should not be inflicting harm, ever. That's not the point. They should be protecting one another. Or us from each other and from other things, and like helping out on the highway. And like highway patrol's number one job should be to ensure safety in the case of an accident or a disabled vehicle or whatever else could happen on the highway, not to just chase speeders, right? Now, don't get me wrong, speeding can lead to these things and needs to be prevented, and I don't mind if you stop somebody going 115 in a 70. Not a problem. I don't mind. Now, you shouldn't be taking your fucking gun up to that. You shouldn't be pulling people over because they have tinted fucking windows, dude. Like, can't we just do this electronically at this point? Can't you just go and say like, hey, I scanned your shit and you have tinted windows. I'm gonna email you a fucking ticket, dude. Sorry, dude. Like you just get a fucking ticket in the mail. That happens in when you blow past toll bridges and shit in Florida or whatever, in other places wherever they are. Like I mean, Phoenix tickets off or auto ticket you, yeah. As a fellow Michigander, what do the state police do? They're fucking assholes is what they are. Stateies suck dicks. And not in the fun, cool way. They just suck dicks. Colloquial dicks. Blech. Text stop to opt out. True. Anyway, the policing, obviously, we've talked about this a million times on this channel and other channels. We don't need the police in the way that they exist, man. We don't need them like that. We need them to be in our communities and help. And cop doesn't mean someone with gun that shows up, to anything. Like, don't be shooting fucking dogs. Can we stop shooting dogs? For fuck's sake, just stop shooting dogs. I would rather you got bit and reacted to the bite than shot a dog because you were worried it might bite. Like, what the fuck? Like, these people smash in doors into people's living rooms and are surprised when the dog, territorial creatures we have co-evolved with for thousands of years, are barking at them. Like, what? Don't fucking shoot dogs. If a cop shot my dog, I can't say any of the next words on Twitch or I would get banned. I literally couldn't say them. But I would. Let's just say the Old Testament is right about one thing, and that is John Wick chapter 1 verse 1. Thou shalt not kill my fucking dog. I will literally learn Gun Fu. And that's not even really a joke. I would literally learn Gun Fu. I would become a fucking gladiator. I would become a superhero, dude. Barely a joke. Are you in here still? No. I would John Wick for you, Darwin. I really would. Like, that would. Good. Cat says a cab, Pure Squire. Fuck yeah.
And, I wish that people wouldn't line up to profit from it. Major brands.
I wish people wouldn't profit from this. What? You ran I guarantee you there's a fucking mid-roll on this.
Nike, United Airlines, all these brands lining up to virtue signal and profit stand on this dude's grave. Was George Floyd a model citizen? Of course not. He had an addiction problem. That was clear.
Addiction problems are not things you get murdered for.
He had his history. But had the officers been able to more properly detain him, had the training to detain him without letting him out of the car and all this other insanity, he'd probably still be alive today. Maybe. We saw this with Kenosha, with the Kenosha incident that let a
Does he have a fucking brain cell?
city in my hometown or
This
my
guy's
home
so
state
fucking dumb.
burned down. 3 officers failed to gain control of somebody, and that person ended up getting filled with lead. Had they have handled the situation up
Jesus
front,
Christ.
detained him properly,
How do you fucking say it like that?
Haramble was just a gorilla.
Honey was taken. That's so stupid. Carl Weezer Dummy Thick. Thanks for following. Dummy Thick, me too. I'm wearing double cob today. Maybe that means nothing to you since you just followed, but double cobbed up right now, okay?
never would have got in that car. Never would have had to have holes put in him.
Holes put in him. Why is he saying it like that? Why is he saying it like that?
Training and de-escalation.
Haramble.
Overthought.
These are
Thanks for
things
following, dude.
that our local law enforcement need way more training in. Is it worth it? You know, is it worth it? You know, even if you're that officer, I mean, ultimately you're the one that's going to catch the charge, like Derek found out. Maybe he should have just said, "Nah, I'm just going to let this dude go. It ain't worth it."
Yes. Yes. That's what a lot of people are saying. Yes.
Haramble was just a
Dry
gorilla.
humor nerd. Thanks for following, dude. You know. Do you know why? Do you know why though? Not only did George Floyd do really nothing, like it was a $20 bill. Who fucking knows? Was he fucking printing counterfeit money? I don't think there's any evidence to suggest that. But even if he fucking was, did you know that the penalty? What's the penalty? Penalty for printing money. Manufactured counterfeit currency, 15 years of up to 15 or a fine of $5,000. Did you know that is explicitly not the death penalty? That's pretty weird. Pretty strange, isn't it? Counterfeit up to 15 years is in fact not getting murdered in the street by a white cop putting his knee on your neck. The Bahama Mama? Hang around and find out. You also have known it was counterfeit. Well, I mean, wasn't it like a convenience store or something? They have those little markers that can check. I don't know if that was this situation, but 15 years is way too much. Well, I think it's up to 15 years, and I think it's for a certain amount, right? It could be incredibly destabilizing. Counterfeiting penalty. Let me just type that back in again. So counterfeiting is... Well, now I'm getting 12 years. So I don't know the difference between printing money and counterfeiting, apparently. Up to 12 years. I don't know why. Why are they saying... Are there degrees of it? Counterfeiting coins and currency? I guess I could pull this up for you guys, just in case there's something interesting on here. Secret Service believes that from the early to mid-1990s, as much as $10 billion worth of nearly perfect counterfeit $100 bills were circulating internationally. Oh, wow. Interesting. So maybe it's a difference between like doing it internationally and doing it domestically. I have no fucking clue. I don't know. Ask a lawyer. It's not my job. Getting dunked by a dude in a corn suit was fun to watch on the Hippy Dippy Rumble. Now I'm a fan. Wait, did I dunk on you, dry humor nerd? Or are you saying just watching me dunk on people? I appreciate it either way. But if I did dunk on you, I gotta know what dumb shit you said. Here's some of the training some cops get. Oh, I think I saw this already. I don't think we're gonna watch that right now. Yeah. No, I've seen that, but I'll hold on to it. I'll hold on to the clip. Google that shit. I just did. I don't know if I literally Googled it in front of you. I just don't know if it. I don't know if it the how the penalty increases. I'm sure one of you can find it. Oh, I don't know. Who gives a shit though, really? A broader idea to this, totally irrelevant to what Jeremy just said, which was, of course, maybe he had like a bad past or did a counterfeit 20. Who gives a shit? I don't care. Okay, obviously none of those deserve death. Of course, no one's saying. I don't think anyone's saying they do. I don't think even Jeremy's saying that. But even more broadly, he said that, what if Chauvin just said, "Oh, it's not worth it. We're not going to arrest this guy." Yes. One of the things we talk about when we talk about defunding the police is getting the police out of our collective assholes. Getting them right out of our assholes. They don't need to be in our fucking lives looming over us at all times. We don't need that. I cannot believe Republicans are even for this shit. How can the party of freedom and small government be for police officers fucking looming all the time? How? How in the world, dude? That doesn't make any fucking sense, dude. Hey, don't spam my fucking chat, loser. Can you not, please? No one knows what you're talking about. They will never try to prevent a crime, so why are they always lingering? I don't fucking know, dude. They have to literally wait until crime is committed anyway to even enact anything, unless they see something that will obviously be a problem. It's a cotton blend. Honey was taking. It's like a cotton. It's like pressed papers and shit. It's a specific blend for U.S. currency. Firefighters don't hang out. That's what I'm saying. Like I want police out of our day-to-day lives. Frankly, I think we could go with fewer police that do a better job that are worked less, and it would be just fine. The Bahama Mama, thanks for following, man. Appreciate you. This is what I'm talking about, man. Like, we don't need them fucking being all up in our shit all the time. Do you know, like, if a cop knocked on your door, if a cop knocked on your door, would you feel fucking comfortable opening your door at all? Whether you were a white person or not. Like, I'm not comfortable opening my fucking door to a cop, and I'm not even one of the people that they fucking target usually. Fuck cops, dude. They have no goodwill in our communities. None. Get them out of here. Yeah, my dog barks too. Darwin barks a lot when people knock on the door. There's just no fucking way, right? They got guns, bro, all the time. All the fucking time. Not a fan, man. I'm a cop? Well, you suck then. You suck. Are you actually a cop, Dextra? That'd be amazing. I want to talk to you if you're a cop. Because first of all, you suck. And second of all, I want to talk to you about why you suck. Yeah, I'm assuming he's not a cop. I was joking. But like... but you fucking suck. I'll talk to you right now. But you're not a cop. It's okay. I don't think we need to watch any more of this video.